What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, the next two stimulus packages, as well as what is going on in the world today. Several new things to discuss with you guys in this video, multiple stimulus items to discuss, as this is a big week as they plan to unveil the next portion of the infrastructure package, the American Families Plan, which will have multiple different stimulus items in there, and they plan to do that this week. Don't forget to hit the like button for us down below, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos. All right, here we go. The new census results could actually shake up the way our government is formed, as this will change the House of Representatives seats. Based on the new 2020 census results, as you can see here, 7 states will lose seats in the U.S. House of Representatives, including -1 seat for California and New York, both of which are Democratic states. The other seven states total are California, Illinois, Michigan, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia will all be losing 1 seat each for a total of 7 seats. Now, on the flip side, there's 6 states that will be gaining U.S. House of Representatives seats, including Texas, which is a typically Republican state, will be gaining 2 different seats. And remember, we just talked about how California and New York are both losing one seat, which are typically always Democratic seats, and Texas is typically Republican, will be gaining 2. The 6 states that will be gaining seats for the next Congress will be Texas, Colorado, Florida, Montana, North Carolina, and Oregon. Now, as you can see here on the screen, the Democrats' lead in the U.S. House of Representatives is actually growing smaller by the day. As you can see here, on January 1st, January 15th, 2021, a Democrat, Cedric Richmond, resigned. A Republican, Ron Wright from Texas, died in February. And then 2 more Democrats resigned in March. And then another Democrat from the House of Representatives died on April 6th. So there is now a total of 5 vacancies, which leaves the Democrats only with a 6-seat lead in the U.S. House of Representatives. Now, this further narrows the margin of error to pass future stimulus packages when the Democrats go to pass them through the reconciliation process. And when the next election comes around in 2022, next year, remember we have those several different states that are switching, like Texas is gaining 2 seats, which is typically a Republican state, and the Democrats are losing 2 states alone, just in New York and California. And this could mean an even slimmer margin for the Democrats. If the Republicans don't take over, they only need to take over a few seats there based on the vacancies. It's anywhere from like 3 to 6 seats, depending on how the numbers will end up lying when the total census comes out and they end up voting and who's Democrat, who's Republican. And remember, the Senate is also a 50-50 tie. So when the next election comes around, it's such a slim margin that it could go either way. We could see the Republicans win both, we could see the Democrats win both, or we could see one and one both win. Democrats win the House, Republicans win the Senate. All the Republicans would need to do to win the Senate, for example, would be just to win 1 seat. That is how slim the margins are. Remember, the Democrats control the Senate with a 50-50 tie, and the tiebreaker vote goes to the vice president, who happens to be Kamala Harris, who is a Democrat. That is the only reason the Democrats control the Senate, and they control the House by the slimmest of margins. So we'll have to see what will come around, but these new census changes will make the margin even slimmer potentially for the Democrats, and we'll have to see if just these last couple changes from the census might end up costing them the U.S. House of Representatives. It doesn't cost the Senate because remember, you get 2 votes for states per state, and the Democrats want to make Washington, D.C. a state, although it's unlikely to pass the Senate unless they can get rid of the filibuster, which is a tough uphill challenge. Remember, if the Democrats can get rid of the filibuster, they would have the next year and a half or so to be able to pass multiple stimulus packages and bills and all sorts of other bills that might not be stimulus related with only 50 votes in the Senate. But that would change the rules going forward too. So if the Republicans at any given point take back over the Senate, then they would have the luxury of only needed basically 51 votes to pass bills in the Senate. That is currently how the House of Representatives is, where you only need one more vote past 50%. There's typically 435 votes in the U.S. House of Representatives, 435 seats. So you only need literally one more vote more than 50%. Getting rid of the filibuster would make it easier to pass bills in the Senate going forward for eternity, whether it's a Republican Senate or a Democratic Senate. Here is Representative Jayapal on their want to get rid of the filibuster in the Senate, the rule that requires 60 votes in the Senate to pass a bill instead of just 50.
Since we began the 117th Congress in January, the House has already passed dozens of popular, necessary, and urgent bills. That includes H.R. 1 to protect voting rights, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, the Equality Act, the Paycheck Fairness Act, the Dream and Promise Act, My Access to Counsel Act, and so many other pieces of legislation like gun safety reforms, climate justice policies, and proposals to protect workers' rights. Voters delivered Democrats, the House, the Senate, and the presidency, a clear mandate for transformative change. And the House has been delivering for voters. But the unfortunate truth is that until we eliminate the filibuster, Mitch McConnell has a rubber stamp to block any and every bill the House passes from becoming law. That's why I am prioritizing eliminating the filibuster. It is time to get this done, and it's time to make a real difference in the lives of people across this country.
Let me know your thoughts. Do you think they should get rid of the filibuster to make it easier to pass bills in the Senate? And remember, this would be for eternity going forward, whether it's controlled by a Democratic Senate or a Republican Senate. Now, the Senate parliamentarian has ruled that the Democrats can pass at least two more packages with the reconciliation process. And this cat here, right? With this reconciliation process and pass two more packages this year alone, basically overriding the filibuster, and they can do the reconciliation process with only 50 to 51 votes, which is what they have in the Senate. However, there's certain rules that they can do and certain things they can't include in that package, such as the minimum wage raise, among other things. And it's a more lengthy process and a more difficult process. However, that is how they passed the third stimulus check package. Democrats did that entirely on their own. There wasn't a single Republican that voted for that bill. Right now, they're currently trying to get Republican support for the first half of the next stimulus package, the infrastructure package. However, I still think it's unlikely that they're going to be able to come to an agreement. The Republicans' proposal is less than 25% of what President Biden wants, 2.2 to 2.3 trillion. The Republican proposal is less than $600 billion. And they'd have to meet in the middle, maybe somewhere around a trillion. But I just don't know if the Democrats are even willing to go that low. Because remember, this infrastructure package is spread out over the next 10 to 15 years. And less than $1 trillion spread out over that many years is really less than $100 billion per year. When you equate that to all 50 states and our entire country, it's actually a kind of small amount when you figure it out and divvy it per year going forward. But alas, we'll have to see if they can come to a compromise. I think there's almost no chance at all that they will pass the second part, the American Families Plan, with any Republican support. That's where all the stimulus items are. So remember, we have all sorts of different programs and provisions that the Democrats want to include in this second half, the American Families Plan. We know that more and more support grows among Democratic lawmakers for a fourth stimulus check, and the majority of them are actually pushing for monthly recurring stimulus checks to be included in this next infrastructure slash stimulus package. Many Democrats think that the monthly stimulus check package, such as the bill in the Senate for $2,000 per month until the pandemic is over, or the bill in the U.S. House of Representatives that is a one time $2,000 stimulus check, then followed by $1,000 monthly recurring payments until 1 year after the pandemic is declared over, is a necessity and should have been done all along, and that we shouldn't have to wait for each package to pass to get a stimulus check, the first one, the second one, and the third one, and now the fourth one, as that way they really should just set up monthly stimulus checks to make it a lot easier for everybody than having to wait in between each package and wait for them to basically come to negotiations for each package. If they get monthly stimulus checks done in this next infrastructure slash stimulus package, well, really just the stimulus part of it, the American Families Plan, well, we wouldn't need to worry about that anymore. We would really just need to worry about how long they would go, and the longer, the better, right? Now, speaking of monthly stimulus checks, there is already a monthly stimulus check passed from the third stimulus check package, and that is the $300, $250 to $300 per month child income tax credits. You know, it's a total of $3,000 for children over the age of 6 through 17, and $3,600 for children under the age of 6. Well, just today, House Democrats have introduced a new bill to make permanent the $300 monthly stimulus checks to parents from President Biden's next stimulus package, the American Families Plan. As you can see here, House Democrats unveiled a bill on Monday to keep the 1 year child tax credit expansion an anti poverty initiative, which they're calling this next American Families Plan, this next stimulus package, an anti poverty package, and which formed a part of President Biden's $1 trillion third stimulus check package a month ago. The plan that was introduced today by Democrats, including Representative Rosa DeLauro, chair of the House Appropriations Committee, Representative Susan Delbene, head of the centrist New Democrat Coalition, and Representative Richie Torres of New York, it would maintain the strengthened child tax credit, increased to $3,600 per child under the age of 6 and $3,000 for children between 6 and 17. The amount that was previously stood at $2,000, that amount was raised to $2,000 by the Republicans in the 2017 Trump tax cuts. Under Biden's stimulus, parents have the option to receive the payment from the IRS as a monthly stimulus check of $250 to $300 per month, depending on their children's age. The Tax Policy Center projected in March that 90% of families would benefit from this program, and experts say that implement it would have the country's half the country's child poverty rate. Quote, "We must use this moment to pass the American Family Act and permanently expand and improve the child tax credit by increasing the benefit to families and providing monthly payments," DeLauro said in a statement. Children and families must be able to count on this benefit long after the end of this pandemic. Now, reports show that President Biden is willing to expand this child tax credit for more than just this year. Remember, it was passed just for this year in 2020 in the third stimulus check package for 2021. President Biden, there's some information that says that he's willing to go up to 2025. Some Democrats want him to increase it permanently. Either increase would be absolutely amazing for families with children, and they could do that in this next infrastructure package, as well as a fourth stimulus check or recurring stimulus checks included in addition. The other thing that we're seeing a lot of support for is the increase of Social Security benefits and Medicare benefits, two different benefits that would benefit our senior population, our community here, a lot of them, would really help a lot. There's a couple different proposals on the Social Security front. Number one is that new bombshell proposal that we had come out just this week and is quickly gaining in support for SSI recipients to raise their monthly benefits by $279 every single month. and that goes in perpetuity. I don't think there's just a pandemic end date for that. I think it would just be an increase and it would stay at that higher level to help with inflation, basically. There's a couple other provisions in there, like getting rid of the marriage penalty, which many experts say shouldn't even have been there, as well as getting rid of the asset penalty, or not getting rid of it, but raising it to a higher amount. If you're on SSI, you're only allowed to have $2,000 in assets or money in the bank, which is a pretty small number nowadays. They want to raise that to a higher amount. In addition to that, that could creep over and include those benefits. Moved over to include SSDI as well. And then there's the other bill that's now gaining back in support now that this push for Social Security beneficiaries has reemerged. That is for the $200 per month Social Security increase that has long been promised or kind of pushed by the Democrats since last year. Now could be the time to see that done. In addition to that, we could see the free college new proposal. We just had that proposal come out this week from Senator Bernie Sanders. And Joe Biden's actually in favor of this. He's said in some of his past interviews that he thinks college for people under a certain income bracket, I believe it's $125,000, should be eligible for free college, free community college, and four-year state college. There's a couple different provisions in there that could be negotiated on. Remember, all these different items can be negotiated in or out or just negotiated on to change the details until this package is passed. The second stimulus check literally wasn't in that package until literally 2 days before they passed it. They ended up putting the second stimulus check in there because of the outreach and the cries to have that added in, that there really needed to be a second stimulus check added in that package. They added it in. They wrote the bill the next day, and the next day the House of Representatives passed it, and then the next day the Senate passed it. So, and that just shows you that things will be or can be added in or changed or modified all the way up until the end, or things can be taken out. We've seen that in the third stimulus check package bill when they had to take out that $15 an hour minimum wage provision just days before it passed because, well, it didn't have enough support to pass that. So I will keep you up to date on all these new stimulus provisions that could be in the next infrastructure package. President Biden is going to announce it this week, at least the starting level of kind of like what's in the package to start. And then we're going to see a lot of push of, oh, we need to include this, or oh, we need to include this, or oh, all the Democrats are for this, and see what other stimulus provisions might be included after they kind of announce the starting level of what will be in the package. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below and join our family of subscribers. It's completely free to do so. And this way you won't miss out on new updates, which come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., 8 p.m., and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss an episode because we cover new provisions in new videos or new programs in different videos. And we're going to have a lot of new news coming here soon from the White House on this next package. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on the Amazon FBA platform. I've had dozens of students that have replaced their 9-to-5 job selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.